So, good day everyone. I am Cyril Tolentino and I am tasked together with my group mates to report Chapter 5 Managing Workplace Stress. And I am assigned in the topic work stressors. Now, for our topic outline, we will be discussing the work stressors and its two types, the individual stressors and the group and organizational stressors. Now, in the individual stressors, we have two types at least, the role conflict and the work overload. For the group and organizational stressors, we have the participation, intra and intergroup relationships, organizational politics, organizational culture, lack of performance feedback, inadequate career development opportunities, downsizing, and non-work stressors. Now, to start with, let us first define what are work stressors. So, um, work stressors, or in work, stressors are actions, situations, or events that place special demands on a person. It can be from various sources ranging from familial, personal, or societal. Furthermore, in any circumstance, virtually any occurrence can place special demands on a person, resulting in a finite source of potential stressors. So so as we're talking about the humans and behavior in organizational setting. So, stressors, sila yung mga actions, anything, can be actions, situations, or events that place special demands. Bakit special demands? Kasi taxing siya. Kasi exhausting siya sa tao. Okay? It can be from any, it can be na galing siya sa pamilya mo, a personal or societal problems kasi there are lots of factors especially sa family mo na magko-contribute sa iyong stress. Also, on your personal problems. Also, in the societal problems. Of course, masistress ka. So, and then, yung stress na yun, it can be na madadala mo siya sa work. Okay. So as I've mentioned, in the individual level, meron tayong dalawang uri ng stressors sa individual level. So first on the list is the role conflict, or this is when workers are given different and incompatible roles at the same time. So it is said that role conflict is perhaps the most widely examined individual stressor. Parang pinaka-prevalent, pinaka-most examined stressor in the individual level is the role conflict. So this is present rather, whenever compliance by an individual with one set of expectations about the job is in conflict with compliance with another set of expectations. Kumbaga, as the name suggests, role conflict parang yung role ay yung mayroong conflict between your roles, parang double roles na kumbaga, or you are given a different a set of work na hindi compatible sa iyong skills, sa iyong abilities, and of course in your time. So nagiging problem talaga yan siya sa inyo. For example, yung skills mo is more on the technical skills, say, sa mga computer skills, ganon. And then, you are given a task to fix the broken table or to fix the broken chair. So, there is a role conflict between your task, between your skills and the task given to you. Not just that, role conflict can also be, for example, uh, nilagay ka ng iyong supervisor sa isang team, and then you are pressured to get along with the people with whom you are not compatible. Hindi hindi ka compatible sa parang nilagay ka ng boss mo or na supervisor mo sa isang job, and then you are pressured na kailangan yung mga tao na yun is makiget along mo, knowing na yung mga tao na yun or yung other members of the team is hindi mo compatible, hindi kasi ng personality, hindi mo siya ka-vibe. So, mayroon ding role conflict na nangyayari, which contributes to the stressor to the individual. Clearly, by the given examples, it can be na yung role conflict is whether from organizational policies or from the other person. So, pero one thing is for sure, role conflict is a significant contributor to the stress na na-experience ng isang worker. And yung role conflict naman, maraming maaring mangyayari or maaring mangyari. For example, yung sa role conflict, yung prevalent type ng role conflict is daw when work and non-work roles interfere with one another. Kumbaga, yung roles mo sa trabaho and yung role mo outside the work is mag-interfere. For example, yung pinaka-common example nito is when uh, conflict from the spouse or your parent. For example, parang nag-demand yung asawa mo na mag-date kayo, pero when your wife set the date and the day on your date, on your kumbaga magala kayo, turns out na may meeting kayo or you have to finish a task work. So there is a role conflict. So balancing the demands of work and family roles is a significant daily task for a growing number of employed adults. Especially if adult ka na, di ba? As I have given example, parang stress talaga yan sa iyo. Or, yung parent mo naman, nag-demand naman, bisitahin mo naman kami dito sa province, ang tagal mo na hindi nakauwi, ganun. And yet, you have to finish a task, you have to finish a work. Still, it is a role conflict. So, another type of individual stressors is the work overload. And yung work overload naman, may dalawang types, yung quantitative and yung qualitative. Now, when we say work overload, simply put, we simply mean by that na overload ka na sa work mo, parang marami ka nang, you have too much to handle on your plate, parang ganun. For example, sa mga teachers natin, di ba? For example, 6 unit, ay lang ba, parang 6 subjects lang yung kaya nila, yung dapat nila na i-handle. Pero because of the lack of, say, employees, ganun, binibigyan sila ng another 2 workload. So, nagkakaroon sila ng work overload. So, when we say types of work overload, we have the quantitative types. This results from having too many things to do or insufficient time to complete a job. Yung quantitative work overload, ito yung wala ka ng time. Kulang ka sa time to finish the job. Marami kang gagawin pero kulang ka sa time to finish the job. While the qualitative work overload, it occurs when people feel they lack the ability needed to complete their jobs or that performance standards have been set too high. Yung qualitative work naman, more on the set of skills. Kulang ng set of skills ang worker para to finish that job or the standard has been set too high and pressure siya to reach that standard, performance standard, parang masyadong mataas ba, so pressure siya. But still, it's a work overload. Kasi nga, kulang pa rin siya ng skills to finish the job. There. However, let us not limit ourselves na sabihin natin na ito lang yung role conflict lang and work overload lang yung mga individual stressors. There are lots of individual stressors out there na makakontribute sa stress ng isang worker. However, these are the only given the book. And even though hindi ko siya ma-discuss today, parang you can assess it to yourself naman, especially those who are working na ano yung mga individual stressors at your level na makakapag-contribute sa yung stress. Now, moving on to the groups and organizational stressors, we have here the different types. So first, I will first discuss the participation. So, participation refers to the extent that a person's knowledge, opinions, and ideas are included in the decision-making process. It is an important part of working in organizations for some people. So, simply, participation is parang yung included ka as a worker, yung mga ideas mo, yung mga opinions mo gina-include or gina-accept, ginatanggap, and ginasali sa discussion, parang ganun. So, groups and organizations that do not encourage or allow participation will be a source of frustration to those who value it, kasi there are workers na who really values participation, who really values, parang iba sa kanila na makapag-contribute ka ng idea and your idea was given credit and was ka ng parang tinanggap ng higher authorities, parang ganun. So, for those organizations and groups that do not encourage or do not allow participation, so parang boss-centered, supervisor-centered yung organization, nakaka-frustrate yun, nakaka-add yun ng stress sa individual. Parang hindi sila napapahalagahan, hindi napapahalagahan yung ideas nila and yung opinions nila, ganon. So, participation is a big factor pa rin also sa motivation and productivity ng isang worker, as it will parang if ma-feel ni worker na they are valued, their opinions, their knowledge, their ideas are being valued, then they are parang motivated to do more, to do well, and to be more productive para for the next time. Parang, again, ma-acknowledge din yung ano nila, yung ideas nila or opinions nila. However, others naman viewed participation as a threat to the traditional right of the manager to have the final say. Kasi 'di ba very traditional yung sinasabi na last word pa rin si manager. Kung ano yung mapag-desisyonan ng body, nakadepende pa rin kay manager na tanggapin yung decision na yun. However, I think it's 2022 and we're entering a new era na. So, I mean like we are in a new era na. So, I think it's okay to break the norms and to break the traditional types of working place na parang manager-centered, supervisor-centered yung decision ng isang company, 'di ba? Okay, so next naman is the intra and intergroup relationships. So poor relationships within and between groups can be a source of stress, 'di ba? For example, several members of the customer service team may not get along, or a firm's salespeople may make commitments that the installation team can't honor, which can lead to friction between these two groups. So, simply put, intra and intergroup relationships in the context of uh, parang stress source or source of stress, ganon, is that yung how you behave or how you communicate or how your relationship within the group or your relationship with your teammates, your relationship with your other workers. Parang ganun yun siya. For example, parang may redo na, no, not redo, ulit, sorry. May, there is a conflict between the two teams na, so, it can be a source of stressors, di ba? Or, parang may isang member ng yung team na hindi nyo ka-vibes. So, uh, yung intergroup relationship niyo is poor and low. So, poor relationships include low trust, lack of cohesion, low supportiveness, and lack of interest in listening and dealing with the problems that confront a group or group of member. Bakit nagkakaroon ng low trust, lack of cohesion, ganun? Kasi, parang, walang interest yun to listen and to deal with the problem. So parang may issues na sa inyo, parang lack of vision, hindi kayo united as one, as a team, 'di ba? So problem relationships can lead to communication breakdowns and low job satisfactions, furthering increasing the likelihood of stress. So pag ganun, pag hindi maganda yung relationship niyo with one another, is that uh there could be a low job satisfaction na will further the increase of likelihood of being stressed, parang ganun. And also, yung productivity, yung job productivity mo as a worker will also lower down kasi nga, parang may rift na sa inyong dalawang team member para hindi kayo maka-work together. Diba? Ganon. Next is the organizational politics. High levels of political behavior in organizations can be a source of stress for many employees. Office politics are consistently cited as a primary stressors in organizations. I think this organizational politics does not literally mean politics, but rather, um, ano ito siya, parang, ano yung pamamalakad inside the organization, ganon. 'di ba? So, pag ano, tyrannical or autocratic yung executive nyo or yung leader nyo, so parang matatakot ka talaga or parang may something talaga na gusto at may problema. So, stress ka niyan, 'di ba? Or yung pamamalakad niya hindi ubet or yung pamamalakad niya is bias, ganun. So, it can be a kanang source of stress. Next is the organizational culture. So, organizational culture naman is it prefers all, 'di ba? Like any individual, yung organization may culture din kasi organization is composed of different individual and those individuals have different culture. So, in an office, parang it's a mixed, diverse of culture, ganon. So, the personality of an organization is shaped largely by its top executives. Ayun. Also, parang kung ano yung culture ng manager nyo, ganun din yung parang more likely na magiging culture nyo as a team. So, by that, there can be a situation where the culture of the manager is parang unethical sa ibang team member. Team member, for example, ikaw, unethical for you na late, ganon. And then, kay manager nyo naman, okay lang malate as long as mag-comply, ganon, mag-attendance, ma-finish ang task on time. So there is the discrepancy between your culture and the team and the manager's culture, which is a contributor of stress. Kasi, of course, hindi mo matanggap sa sarili mo na um, accepted yan sa kanila and for you is not. 'Di ba? Okay, so next, another types of another type of group and organizational stressors are the lack of performance feedback. So by this, ibig sabihin nito is most people want to know how they are doing and how management views their work. 'Di ba? Parang um you are as a worker, naghihintay ka ng feedback from your manager if how well are you doing your job. 'Di ba? Parang is it good or is it bad? May kulang ba, may mali, may improve ba or okay na? Ganon. So so all too often, however, meaningful performance evaluation information is lacking, or the information is provided in a highly authoritarian or critical manner. Performance feedback information must be provided, and if it is to be provided in a way that minimizes stress, it must take place in an open, two-way communication system there. So, kailangan daw, if there is also a performance feedback, kailangan the manner you deliver it or the manner the manager should deliver it should be in an open two-way communication system. Parang uh, if negative yung feedback, you talk to the worker na hindi siya masasaktan or hindi siya ma-offend. Pero sometimes, really are feedbacks na you need to take it in a hard way, na kailangan malaman talaga nito in a hard way para magtanda sila and also para ma-change. Pero most of the time, should be na hindi siya stressful yung pag-relay ng performance feedback. Ganon. Kasi, for some people, 'di ba, if makarinig sila ng feedback, if you think constructively, if you receive that criticism constructively, parang masasabi mo na, I need to change, I need to improve kasi kulang ako sa ganito na skill, ganon. And, as I've mentioned, it should be na maibigay in a nice manner. Next naman is the inadequate career development opportunities. Dito, career development opportunity stressors are those aspects of the organizational environment that influence a person's perception of the quality of his or her career progress. Career variables may serve as stressors when they become sources of concern, anxiety, or frustration. This can happen if an employer is concerned about real or imagined obsolescence, feels that promotion progress is inadequate, or is generally dissatisfied with that match between career aspirations and the current positions. Ano ito siya? Ito inadequate career development opportunities. There is parang you feel like your skills is parang overqualified ka na, your skills is overqualified in your current position and there is a need for you to step up into the other level or the other stage. Kumbaga you're from dishwasher ka na, pwede ka na maging cashier kasi pero not parang yun concept lang yun Hana, parang may step up na of your know-how of your position. However, some companies parang hindi nila nakikita yung skills ng hindi nila nakikita yung skills ng worker para i-promote, kundi yung mas ano sa kanila, yung mas malapit sa kanila, hindi talaga yan maiwasan, especially here in the Philippines, na pag sino yung malapit sa luwag na sinasabi nila, there is a padrino system, ikaw yung mas mauna promote, mas nauna pa ma-promote si kapabago lang kapasok ni worker kaysa ikaw na 6-year worker na sa kanya sa company, 'di ba? So it can be a source of stress. Parang your career develop, parang there is a lack or inadequate, mali na parang career development opportunities for you. Now, the next on the list is the downsizing. Okay? Downsizing or yung pagbabawas ng tauhan. Downsizing is primarily associated with the reduction of human resources, layoffs, attrition, redeployment, or early retirement. Parang pagpapaliit ng tauhan, di ba? So, some organizations strive to become lean and mean. Increasing numbers of employees are either downsized or fear being downsized, 'di ba? There are employees na gusto nila lahat ng workers nila competent. Ganon. So, magbabawas sila ng mga incompetent. Ganon. And this can be potential source of stressor. Kasi, uh, ikaw na employee is you are afraid na baka masali ka sa mga mali-lay off or bigyan ng early retirement or simply tanggalin talaga, 'di ba? So it can be an early source of stressor. The last one is the non-work stressors. Dito naman, non-work, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga stressors that are caused by the outside factors or factors outside the organization. So it can be yung sinabi ko kanina na familial, societal, environmental. So, um, familial in a way na uh, parang may gulo sa pamilya nyo na hindi nyo ma-resolve. So, can be na maapektuhan yung work mo or if may tinatapos ka na report sa iyong bahay and then masyadong maingay sa loob ng bahay nyo, you cannot finish your work. So, mas stress ka nun. Or maingay yung mga bata, you can focus, stress ka nun. Or pag bumabaha, of course, hindi siya kung bumabaha, umuulan, ganon, mag-brown out, stress, hindi makafocus, hindi mo matapos yung work mo. There, non-work stressors, parang the outside organizations na, outside the office na ng mga factors kung bakit nasa-stress ka. Traffic, mabagal na internet, mahal na bilihin, it can be a stressor and it can affect your productivity or your level of job productivity inside your office. Pag ganun, sabihin natin na very petty na yung mga outside work stressors na yan, masyadong maliit na yan, but no, those maliliit na mga factors, pag compile yan sila, pag nagsama-sama yan sila, to work as one, malaki na yan sila, and it can cause a very massive stress to the worker. Okay, so to recap, my report is very, short lang talaga yung report ko. From individual stressors, we have the role conflict and the work overload. And for work overload, we have the qualitative and quantitative work overload. For the group and organizational stressors, we have the participation, the intra and intra-group relationships, the organizational politics and culture, the lack of performance feedback, the inadequate career development opportunities, downsizing, and the non-work stressors. Now that ends my report, and I hope you had learned something. If you have questions, queries, clarifications, corrections about my report, please don't hesitate to ask me, to PM me, and I will answer I'll try to answer all your questions. Thank you, everyone. Good day and have a blessed day ahead.